You've been my provider, and you're my rider. You've been with me through the fire. No worries, 'cause you got me. Giving up, not likely. No, the devil can't stop me, 'cause I'm walking in my victory. Stay with it long as you're with me.
Yeah, say this. You made a way.
You made a way
Out of no way.
out of no way.
You keep on blessing me.
You keep on blessing me
Every day.
every day.
Fight on my battle.
Fight on my battle.
You say the day.
You say the day.
Yeah.
That's why we give you all the glory.
Let's go. Can't nobody do me like you, Jesus.
Ain't nobody do me like you, Jesus.
Can't nobody do me like the Lord, yeah.
Ain't nobody do me like you, Jesus.
I give you glory, yeah. I give you glory, yeah.
Give you glory.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me for this Winning Wednesday. I'm sorry, I am multitasking right now. I'm literally trying to get the live started. But while I do that, you guys go ahead, like, share, tag a friend, share this. It's an impromptu night tonight. I know we are waiting on election results. And so I want us to just have some fun tonight. Didn't want to be too serious tonight. But I wanted to have a little bit of fun. So while y'all come on in and join me, I'm going to finish getting situated. I got somebody joining me tonight. We're just going to have a little conversation tonight. Who am I? So y'all come on in. Thank you for joining me for Winning Wednesday. So again, it's Winning Wednesday. I haven't checked the election results. You know what? Let me go ahead and check those now. Election is over. I hope that you guys all voted yesterday. I hope that you guys all voted yesterday because I know that I did. Because that is the only way we are going to make change. Right now, Biden is up by 264 to Donald Trump's 214. He's got 6 votes left to claim his presidency. So Nevada, I need y'all to go ahead and come on and get y'all votes together so we can go ahead and have a new president. All right. So with that being said, like I said, it's Winning Wednesday. I wanted to have some fun. It has been a stressful time. We have been on shelter in place for 8 months now. Some of us haven't been physically in the church building for several months. Some of us have been out of work for a while. Some of us are at home playing teacher and mommy and trying to still work. So it has been a tough time. And so tonight I just want us to change up and do a little something different. So I asked you guys to send me, you know what, I didn't go live on Instagram. Let me go live on Instagram, y'all. I'm sorry. Facebook gets all the love and Instagram rarely gets some love. So y'all give me a second for me to set up my Instagram. But I normally have something scripted. I normally have something planned. I normally have someone joining me. But I wanted to lighten the mood for this Winning Wednesday. So I asked you guys to submit some questions, some random questions, anything that you wanted to ask. Absolutely anything that you wanted to ask. So I got a whole bunch. I wrote them down because I need to write them down because I can't go back and forth. I'm getting old. I'm not as young as the young kids are. So I got to have it written down or I'm going to forget. So we're going to go through some of these questions because y'all crazy. Y'all is crazy. So again, y'all go ahead, like, and share because we're going to have some fun in here tonight. All right. So my first question I got was, this is from a married woman. Why do single men keep asking me, do I know any single women? Why do they feel comfortable asking me this? Well, I ain't married no more. So I don't have them battles. Do they be asking you? Hook me up with your friend.
Oh my God. That's ridiculous. How about that? Let's not be ridiculous in 2021. Okay, let's switch it up. I feel like that's just a way of like starting conversation, having conversation.
Okay.
Me personally, I be looking at like people's motives.
Okay.
And I feel like, okay, you starting conversation, like, why are you talking to me?
Well, because if your friend is single, I want you to hook me up. Like,
but I feel like there's an underlying, you might want to talk to me, you want to test the limits. I'd be like,
but we don't do that. We not do that. So
we're not gonna play those games.
So I don't know. There wasn't a follow-up question. It was just, why do single men keep asking me, do I know any single women? So if they don't have any ulterior motives, because they might have ulterior motives, they just might be shy and they don't know how to approach your friend. They're really interested in your friend and they don't want to. Men don't handle rejection well. I don't care how much they say it. They don't handle rejection well. So because they don't handle rejection well, let me ask you if you know of any single friends, and hopefully you bring up that right friend.
Or you know how like they say, birds of a feather flock together.
Okay.
So if you're asking me, most likely there's something in me that you like, and you feel like I know somebody like me. Did that make sense?
That makes sense.
Like
I can't marry you because you married.
Right.
So let me marry somebody like you.
Right.
I got
because
you.
I'm pretty sure like you're a woman, you're put together, you're pretty. I'm pretty sure you got pretty friends.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's why you gotta.
So girlfriend, that might be the reason why. Just like my grandma used to say, if you let the devil ride, then he want to drive. So if after you hook him up or name them single friends, if he decide that he wants to take you to coffee sometime to talk about church business, you might want to be watching him. You might want to be leery of him. But he might, be careful. But he might just want a good Christian woman like you.
Just like you. Because he can't have you.
He can't have you.
So he needs you to find him somebody like you.
Right.
With your qualities.
Right.
That's just
you keep being that good wife. Keep on being that good wife.
Yeah.
The next question was, do I know any CPAs or financial advisors? I do. I know several. I will tag them in this post. Sabrina Green is a CPA, I believe. She does help you with taxes. She is a financial advisor. Clint and Deanna Lewis, they are moguls. Y'all, they own like 9-10 different franchises. Y'all, they are the business. Clint and Deanna Lewis can help you get your money in order. CPAs, Mr. Doug Best, he comments on and supports me very much, very well. So reach out to him. If I can think of any more off the top of my head or after this is over, I will definitely tag them in this because for 2021, we getting our money. Well, no, let me back that up. We're not waiting till 2021 to get our money right. We're getting it right today.
Don't wait till the ballot.
Listen, I don't do like, I had an aha moment the other day. I don't know why so many Christians have bad credit. Like I've had bad credit, but I had to like, if we said we're going to pay our bills, Christians tell the truth. Like, don't go get that TV and you don't have any intention on paying for it. Quit getting mad at them people, them bill collectors just calling your house. You should have made the bill when you left the house. So we're not going to wait till 2021 to get our money in order. We're going to get our house in order now. You need to be more concerned about that than who the president is going to be. We are going to work on our finances, all right? So get you a CPA. I'll tag a couple that I can think of after this. Get you a financial advisor. Be a good steward over the gift. The best way you can be a good steward over the gift that God has given you is by taking advantage and taking care of what God has given you, all right? Hey, Jay. Hey, Jay. Jade, call me. I have something for you, Jade. So call me after live, all right? So another question is, what is one item on your bucket list? My bucket list changes every year. I don't think it stays the same. I don't know even if that's a good thing. And the reason being is because I'm not the same person every year. Like what I want to do today, I'm probably not going to want to do next year. I'm not. I make my goals. I reach them, I accomplish them, and then I'm on to the next. But I guess maybe bucket list. I want to go to Fiji. Like, I want to go to Fiji.
Where's that at?
Out in the middle of nowhere, like in the middle of the water. So I want to go to Fiji.
I've never heard of Fiji.
Yeah, I just want to go to the island and don't want to have a phone. I don't want to have no kids. I don't want to have no emails. I don't want to have no work. I don't have nothing but just me. I don't swim, so I'm not going to even get in the water. I don't know why I want to go to an island and I don't swim. But I don't want to do that. Hello, beautiful. Hey, Bobby. Hey, Bobby. It's been a long time since I seen you. Go ahead and grace your Fresno. I'm going to reach out to you, Bobby. Make sure you send me a message after this because I may forget. But, Bobby, I need to talk to you. All right. The next question. What books are you currently reading? So one of my books every morning before I start, Collective Beauty Microblading. I don't know who that is, but I might need some microblading. Collective Beauty Microblading. Whoever you are, I might need some microblading. Before I start every morning, I sit at my desk before I start work and I read my Bible, I read a book, and I do my meditation and prayer, and then I begin my work day. So this is kind of my sacred place. So one of the books that I'm currently reading is The Divided Mind of the Black Church.
Interesting.
Yes, The Divided Mind of the Black Church. Y'all, if the Black Church could come together, y'all don't know how much power we would have. I don't believe really too much in the Black church and the white church because when we get to heaven, it ain't gonna be no colored church. It's just gonna be one church. But the Black church is a thing. We do have church a lot of different. And this is a really good book. I have learned in these few short years that everything that I was taught about the Bible and everything that I was taught about church wasn't always necessarily the truth. So it took some unlearning, and I'm still unlearning, and I am learning. It doesn't mean that I had bad parents. It doesn't mean that I had a horrible pastor. Yeah, I had a phenomenal pastor. It was my grandfather. I'm not saying it because he was my grandpa. He was good. Like, he was really good. But I am learning that some of the stuff that I learned growing up didn't have nothing to do with the Bible. My red fingernails that my grandma said was from Jezebel. They didn't have nothing to do with the Bible. It didn't. It had everything.
That religiousness, that would be versus Bible.
Yeah.
That's like religion versus Bible.
I was telling somebody the other day, because anklets are back in style now.
Yes, they are. I lightweight want one.
Listen, I did too. Until my grandma voice came back into my mind. Okay. She told me that only loose women wear anklets.
Oh,
loose women. So that has been one thing. That ain't in the Bible. That just, it had a biblical reference, but it don't tell you can't wear anklets. So there's this thing in my mind that I can't wear anklets. So like, it's a battle. Like, I'm 37 and I still battle. I can't wear that because my grandma said then if I wear it, I'm gonna be loose.
Right. My God.
Right.
Like, if you wear it, you're going to be loose.
No, you are. Loose. You are. You're a woman of the night.
You wear it.
You're a woman of the night, and that's what that's for. You're wearing that because you want that attention. That's what we were taught. Yeah. Like, for real.
But it's just.
Yeah, girl, child, listen. I ain't never seen my grandma wear nothing but a watch and her wedding ring.
My Lord.
Not never. Like,
what about toe rings?
Yeah. Oh no. I had red hair one time, y'all. I had red hair, and my grandma refused to take a picture with me. She wasn't doing it. No, she was in the hospital, and I was like, Grandma, you know who I am? Yeah, I know who you are. I was like, what's my name? She was like, I can't remember your name right now, but I know you ain't got on red hair today. Ooh. Like, she didn't play. She like
she knew that much.
Right. I grew up in that holiness, like holiness of hell, apostolic PAW, like they didn't play. So So I am reading The Divided Mind of the Black Church, and just how it's just interesting to me that we are all one church and we say we serve the same God, but we are so divided. Like, I don't come to church because of that person. I was putting a service together, and it was like, no, we got to have it for 2 days. And I was like, why? Well, because this person don't talk to this person, and this person, like, well, how are we going to get to heaven?
No.
Like, you're not going to go to heaven because that person there?
That person need to forgive.
Listen.
We need to teach on forgiveness.
Listen. But even when it comes to forgiveness, we need to teach on your title ain't that relevant.
Hello.
Sometimes you got to put their title down and just be like, you know what? This is for the sake of peace or for the cause. Let me take one for the team. So that is about one of the books I'm reading, The Divided Mind of the Black Church. Very good book. If you can, it is by Raphael Warnock. I believe he is the pastor now at Martin Luther King's Church, Ebenezer. The new church, not the old one, because the old one is now a museum. But it is a great book, and if you can get it, I suggest that you get it. Next question. How do you feel about this election? Will you ever run for office? So the election is over. It's done.
Bless the Lord.
It's over. We're just tallying votes now. I would check the what we have, but I can't. I checked it at the beginning. Biden only needs 6 more votes to claim his presidency. Trump's not going out without a fight. And Trump supporters aren't going to go out without a fight. So how do I feel about this election? I have a sense of anxiety. Not necessarily about who's going to be president, because whoever's going to be president is going to be president. What's going to be will be. More so, I have anxiety, and I know the Bible says be anxious for nothing, but I do have a human body. More anxious about what's going to happen post-election. Yesterday, I wouldn't even allow my son to walk down the street because I was afraid of what could happen. What would happen. I even sent out a message to a couple of members in the church and was like, y'all need to be watchful and mindful these next couple of weeks because we don't know what's going to happen. And I don't say that to scare nobody, but it's a harsh reality of the time we're in. Our nation is divided. Yeah. I'm not going to get depressed. Anyways, will you ever run for office? Probably not. Probably not. Don't want to. I don't like politics. I don't like politics in the church. I don't like politics, but politics are what makes organizations, what makes the state, what makes the community, what makes the world go round. Unfortunately, that's the harsh reality. And sometimes the only way you're going to make change is sitting in one of those seats. So today I'm going to say no. I don't have any intention of running for office. 5 years from now, that might be different. But today, no. The election is over. I can't run. You're like the Energizer Bunny. How do you manage it all? Child, listen. I don't manage it all. I just make the struggle look good. I really do. One thing that I use that I have to use, and I'm going to recommend all of you to use if you don't, is your calendar on your phone. Put down every appointment. Put down every conversation. And I even got an old school calendar in my desk right here.
Me too.
For real? You got one that you, yep.
I have my to-do list.
Yep. Every day I have a to-do list. What makes me continue to go is my calendar. I got my phone calendar. I got my heart calendar like that. And every day I have a to-do list.
Check things off your list.
Yep. Every night before bed, I literally make a to-do list for the next day. Yep. Every day.
Every day.
Every single day, I make a to-do list because if I don't have those things, I'm not going to show up to a meeting. I'm going to miss a phone call. I'm going to miss Winning Wednesday, even though that I know that it's Wednesday. I utilize my calendar. So that's the only way that I'm able to manage anything. Like, for real. Other than that, and if nothing else, it's nothing but the grace of God. Like, for real, for real. We look at people a lot of times and we think that they are more gifted or they're more talented or they're more called than we are. And that's not the case. They've just been graced for what it is that they're doing, just like you're graced for what it is that you're doing. You may be graced to just vacuum. You child vacuum every room possible.
Get it done.
The best way you can.
Mhm.
I'll never be able to vacuum. My grandma got a vacuuming ministry, y'all. I ain't never seen nobody vacuum a room and it looks so beautiful as hers does. And she'll tell you exactly how to vacuum. I ain't never met nobody to vacuum like my grandma did. Not never. That's a ministry. To walk in a house and like the floors are like that clean. I don't know how she vacuumed, how she did. But managing it all comes from you knowing what you're graced to do. You can't manage it when you ain't graced to do it. It ain't none of your business. It ain't your calling. And that's why you dropping balls. Are you in business that ain't got nothing to do with you? I'll tell you in a minute. That ain't got nothing to do with me. My friends will tell you my response when they get to talk about something I don't want to talk about. I just want to serve the Lord.
That's it.
I just want to serve the Lord. Like, I don't want to have nothing to do with this. I just want to serve the Lord. So
I just love God.
Listen,
I just love the
if
Lord.
this conversation ain't gonna help me love the Lord, we ain't gonna talk about it. I got too much to do in a day. I got too many. I ain't gonna say too many kids because God gave me the number of kids He wanted me to have. I got kids. I got this job. I got stuff to do. I gotta work at the church. I'm trying to be a leader in the community. Like, I ain't got time for this extra stuff, y'all. I just don't. So the only way I manage it all is literally by doing what I am graced to do. That's it. No more, no less. No more, no less. Next question I got is, do you miss church? Child, you miss church?
I do.
I don't.
I do. Let me tell you.
I don't.
I appreciated the break in the beginning. And then, like, we needed it. Like, I just feel like worldwide, we needed a break. We're like going to service after service.
I ain't doing
multiple
that.
service, all of that. And when we were like forced to stop, it was like a relief, honestly. But now I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, because I've worshiped at my own house. I've prayed at my own house by myself, got into the presence of God. And now I'm at that place where I'm like, I miss us like worshiping together.
I don't. I don't. I ain't even gonna lie. I don't know. Who are you, sir, requesting to be a video? No, we ain't doing that. I don't know you. Sorry.
Taste your drink, friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess she brought me tea, y'all.
You probably wanted to stir it up. So.
It's cinnamon. Nut. It tastes like.
You don't like it?
It tastes like cake batter.
Cake batter.
Yeah,
it tastes like fall to me.
Yeah, that too.
Like
it ain't heaven.
Yeah, it tastes like fall.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's just different.
It is different.
It's different.
So you want that one or you want that one?
No, I'm good with this one. I'm cooking dinner, so y'all got to give me a minute. Samara, can you check the chicken, please? So yeah, I don't miss church. I don't. Because church is, no, let me rephrase that, because the wrong person is going to repeat that and say she don't miss church. So if she don't want to go to church, well, I don't go to church. I miss Bible study. That's what I miss. Like, I have shouted 37 years of my life.
I don't want things to go back to the way they were. Like,
we shouldn't go back, because we're not, like, we just went through something huge. Like, we shouldn't go back to the way that they were. I'm sorry, sir, if you thought I was being rude. No, I wasn't being rude. Oh, okay. Thank you. You're a very friendly person. Thank you. Thank you for joining tonight. So, I miss Bible study. That is what I genuinely miss, because I actually like the study. Like, I am beyond, I love a good praise break. Don't get me wrong. There was nothing that would replace a praise break. A good one, where the spirit really come in. Not everybody just dancing just because the music is good right now.
They hit that chord.
Right. Like, when the spirit really come in, like, them be the business. Yeah. I love those. But I miss Bible study, like actually sitting and learning. I really miss sitting and learning. I don't want to go back to church and every church service is a praise break, because what are we shouting for? And we're still the same.
It's a performance. Like,
I'm over it. I'm over whoever got the mic and the show is about them. Like, I genuinely just want to go to a church and it's the presence of God. I posted it on Sunday. I went to a service and it was a parking lot service. Like, we were sitting in the car. I wasn't expecting much. I just wasn't. Because we in a service in the car. Yeah. Just, it's a car. And I started.
It's lightweight, awkward.
Right. But then I started to get irritated because these people are honking in place of amen. Like, no, why are we honking? You're like, we can't hear the people talking and singing because you're honking. Wow. So, different. The praise and worship is going forth, and the praise team didn't know all the words to the song, which is already like the first strike. Like, y'all didn't go to rehearsal this week? Y'all couldn't Zoom rehearsal? Like, you couldn't listen to the song on the way here and learn the words all week? But then they really like started to usher in the presence of God. And like the spirit came in to where I had a whole worship service in my car. They had moved on to announcements and I was still in the full-blown worship in my car. And I was like, and I really like, there was this one particular situation that I had been praying and asking God for an answer for. And it felt like he was ignoring me. Like, you know how your kid, mama, like, that's what it felt like. And you start ignoring them. Yeah. It felt like God was literally ignoring me. And God spoke so clear in that. I miss authentic worship like that. I really do miss Bible study. If I had it my way, Bible study would be on Sundays. That's what I would do. So I'm good with Bible study on Sundays, and Thursdays are our Bible study nights. But I'm good with Bible study on Sunday and Thursdays. I'm good with that. I absolutely enjoy. Hey, sister. I absolutely enjoy studying the Bible. I went through. Darius Daniels did a class last week for 3 days. Mm-hmm. One of the best classes. And every time I sit in his class, I feel like I don't know nothing about the Bible. Oh, wow. Like, every single time. I feel like I don't know nothing about the Bible. Like, I ain't never read it before. But it's actually, it's almost like a good conviction. Like, I almost welcome conviction now. If you don't get convicted, something's wrong. But it's a good conviction. Like, you need to study more. You need to study some more. You have not arrived. Keep studying. So I don't miss church, but I do miss Bible study. I do. Next question is, why aren't you married yet? Ask the Lord that one, okay? Look, ask the Lord. Ask Jesus. Jesus can tell you why I ain't married yet. I know why I ain't married yet. It ain't none of your business. It's my business. He working on me, all right? That's why I ain't married yet. Marriage is work. It's deep. A sacrifice. It's deep. Marriage. This is a sacrifice. It is. It's your reasonable service. Literally. Dying to literally. Every single day. Yeah. Everything that you do, when you decide, I ain't gonna wash them dishes. Child, listen. When you decide, that's why I ain't married yet. When you decide, I'm gonna go somewhere and you don't tell your spouse. That's why I ain't married yet. Like, when you decide, oh no, I'm not gonna make up the bed because I don't feel like it. Yeah. Oh no, I'm not gonna put up your clothes. Like, everything. That's why I ain't married yet. You got to die to yourself. It's not about how you feel. Yeah. And when you're not ready to do that daily, you just got to stick with Jesus until he make you ready. Jesus and Jesus alone. But see, some things you don't know that you're not ready for until you get into it. Absolutely. However, I have been married twice before. And I've even had people ask, well, you've been married twice before, so how you want to get married again? Because... What do you mean, how? Right. They were not the best marriages, and I'm not pinpointing or blaming anybody. Not saying that they were wrong. I will take full responsibility because I didn't have no business in the marriages. No way. That's my fault. Nothing wrong with them. I'm not saying that they were bad people. They mistreated me. They were horrible husbands. That's not what I said. I said I know for a fact I had no business being in neither one of their marriages. But moving forward, I've learned more so what I don't want. Mm-hmm. I've learned what I ain't going to settle for. I've learned what love is. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty much like love is the commitment to sacrifice even after you don't make me feel good no more.
Yeah.
Like I'm not
Yeah.
on the wedding day, like
Yeah.
we was, I love you, and I'm gonna spend in sickness and in health. How sick?
Listen.
For richer or for poor? How poor? For better or for worse? How worse?
What's crazy? So I'm learning. I've been married for a year now. This past October, and what's crazy is what I'm really, really learning is that when you sign up, and you make those vows for better or for worse, people don't really tell you
like what's worse.
Yeah, people don't tell you what the word. Like you're thinking in your mind, like, oh,
we've been through the
we're
worst.
gonna have an attitude here and there.
Child,
I can forgive him when he in his mood or she in her mood. Yeah. But nobody really tells you what the worst.
But you don't never know what the worst is, because my worst may not be your worst,
right?
And their worst may not be
right.
And then even in these different stages, I was sharing with somebody today. There was some marital advice my grandmother gave me during my second marriage. And I just thought it was stupid. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I thought it was stupid. Like, I'm not doing it. So at the time, my husband decided that he heard from the Lord and it was time for him to start church. Okay. I was in total disagreement. Okay. Like, you ain't heard from the Lord. The Lord ain't told you that.
That wasn't Jesus.
Yeah, that you had indigestion last night. The Lord ain't told you that. Right, because I slept with you last night, so you wasn't up praying. You wasn't wrestling with the Lord. You didn't hear from the Lord. Right. But whatever, whether he did or not, that's between him and God. Today, I can say that's between him and the Lord. Ain't got nothing to do with me. But I was adamant that I didn't hear from the Lord. And I had he didn't hear from the Lord. And I had all of these reasons as to why I wasn't finna follow him as a pastor. Like, you're not finna be my pastor at all.
And this is your husband.
This is my husband. Like, you want to be responsible for my soul,
but you ain't responsible for that credit card.
Like, you want to be responsible for my whole soul. Like, I can make more money. I can get a new house. You want to be responsible for my whole soul. I don't get another one of those. I messed this one up. For real. I ain't getting another one. But I had all of my reasons, and I was griping and complaining to my grandmother. And so she sat me down and she was like, let me share a story with you. Have I ever told you about, because those that know me know that my grandfather was a pastor, a suffragan bishop in the PAW. But did I ever tell you about the time that how I found out? Well, your grandfather told me that he was called to the ministry. And I was like, no. Like, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, went to school out there. So I saw them at minimum. At minimum, I saw my grandparents 5 days a week. That was on a bad week. Okay. Right. That was on a bad week. The good week, it was 7 days a week. But on a bad week, I saw. So I spent a lot of time. So there were stories that I would hear. But this is one story that I never heard. And so I asked her, well, what's the story? So she was saying that they were driving up. They had worked that day. Or she had worked that day. They picked up the few kids that they had, because they had a couple of kids. I don't know if they had 3, 4, 5, however many kids they had. She got 7 total. So they didn't got the kids ready. And they were driving up to Vallejo to the CAF, California Apostolic Fellowship. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather was preaching. It was a Friday night, she said. So as he's getting ready to preach, before he starts his sermon, he says, I've heard from the Lord, and I've decided to accept my calling into full-time ministry. I took a leave of absence from my job. He ain't had no conversation with her on that whole 3-hour drive up there. Ain't said nothing to his wife that he heard from the Lord. And she said, I never complained. Never said a word. All I trusted was that he heard from God and that everything was going to be all right. Mm-hmm. So as mad as I was, because you could have told me before you told everybody else. Right. That, I'm your wife, and I'm finding out when the rest of the church is finding out. Right. That was her only gripe. However, she was okay with he heard from the Lord. And so she said, I took an extra job, did what I needed to do. And she was looking around her house and said, and to this day, I haven't needed or wanted it for anything. Mm. And so that, even still, I was like, yeah, that's not my story. That's your testimony. That's not mine. But it wasn't until a year ago, maybe, I don't even think it's been a year ago, that I actually was able to understand what she was saying. Like, I finally got it. Now, had I got it then, I don't think it would have made any difference. Because again, like I said, I had no business being in that marriage. But
what did you get? Like, what was the aha?
it was literally that when God, well, not necessarily that when God speaks to your husband,
Okay.
but you have to, don't be with a man that you can't trust to lead. If he's not going to lead you, if you can't trust him to lead, y'all don't need to be together. I need to be able, and not only that, be able to support you even when what you're going through or what you're doing doesn't make sense to me. Because like, she had kids. They're young kids. Like I said, they had 7 kids. I don't know how many kids they had at this time. 2, 3, even if it was just 1. You gonna quit your job and now I gotta go to work? Like, how are we gonna make this work? Who gonna pay these bills? A lot of that does go through your mind. So it's justifiable, but she trusted him enough to know that, okay, you taking this leave of absence. God really had to speak to you and God's going to provide. So let me submit to the vision that God has for you, and God will make sure we're taken care of. So that is one thing that I've learned differently and will do differently.
Marry somebody that you can trust.
Marry somebody that I can trust to lead. I haven't had, in the past, I didn't have that. I had to lead. I had to lead. Like, I had to lead. It wasn't no other option. So this next time around, I have to marry somebody that I can trust. That is going to, one thing, I found myself attracted to somebody one day that I would never, like, this is not my type. I would never date you. I would never be interested in you. But I found myself attracted to this person. Wow. And the reason being, like, I had to go back because it was like, you're not like, you don't look like my type. You don't talk like my type. You don't walk like my type. I got a type and you is not it.
You ain't it.
Like, nowhere near it. And so I had to literally go back and, like, assess, where did this attraction come from? And there was something, that's where I realized I had grown. I was listening to them pray one day. Literally, I was listening, and that was the moment. Like, I was listening to them pray, and I knew that if anything were to ever happen, if I were ever laying on a hospital bed, that person would be able to go to God for me, and I would be okay. My children would be okay. If you can go to God on my behalf, child, everything is gonna be all right. Right. You can quit your job today, but you can touch heaven, so we're gonna be good. Yeah. So
I had a moment like that.
Okay.
With my husband. Well, he wasn't my husband then, but we were in church, one of our Thursday night services, and he opened up in prayer. And as he was praying, God was like, "That's your covering." And I was like,
"Really? Really? Why?"
Okay. So that's when I clearly heard from God that was my husband.
Yeah.
He opened up in prayer and he
prayed the whole heavens down.
Y'all.
All of the heavens came down on earth.
Yes.
Touched the earth.
I said, okay.
And see, I didn't like church boys. Like, so when I said I have a certain type, it ain't a church boy.
I feel like I've never not liked a church boy.
No.
Like, I've never.
I don't like church boys. Not my type. Sorry. But like I said, I found myself interested in this person. And it was just that prayer. And that's how I began to learn that, Tish, you're changing. You're becoming a new person. If I'm still liking the stuff that I used to like 10 years ago, then time has changed and you haven't. Like,
that's a problem.
Right.
We need to progress.
And so I'm going to say to any single women that are out there in the world of Facebook on today of the winning of the Wednesday, if he can't touch heaven, sweetie,
don't
he
let
can't
him
touch you.
Hello. Don't let him touch you.
Listen. 2021, we gonna let y'all finish 2020 out acting. But if he can't touch heaven, honey, he cannot
don't let him
touch
you.
Like, period. Like, we're not doing that no more. Like, we grown. We got goals. We got kids. What I look like sick in the hospital with a terminal illness and my husband at home playing PlayStation. No, honey, you need to be fasting and praying that God finna heal my body.
And it's serious. Like, when you get married, like, life happens.
Yeah, real
like,
life.
For real. So don't play with it. Don't choose somebody because they look good. You have to choose somebody that, like you said, that's going to be able to reach God. Like when y'all in that moment, you want to choose somebody that's not going to turn to other things.
Yeah.
Just because y'all going through.
Right.
You want to choose somebody that's going to turn to God.
Right. Right.
And really seek understanding.
Yeah.
And really seek change if that's what needs to happen.
If that, right. Or not only that, a lot of times we get married. My first marriage wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. He's a great father. And someone asked, you guys get along so good today. Why don't you guys reconcile? And it's literally, I can say, because we're on two different paths. And when you marry somebody, we look at today. This is what I want today. This is what fits today. Not realizing you're not going to be who you always will be today.
Yeah.
5 years from now, you'll be somebody different. 10 years from now, you'll be somebody different. All of us literally have goals. We have a purpose. You have to literally marry somebody that is going to be compatible with your purpose. Where you're going, not where you are.
Right.
And if you marry where you are, when you get to where you're going, you're going to be mad because they stuck back there. Or then you're going to be mad because you're busy dragging them along and you ain't got to where you needed to go because you have been hindered by this person that you just had to have today.
Yeah. And so, you know what else I learned?
What?
Before you move on, I'm learning you have to love people for where you are, not for where you expect them to be.
What you mean?
You have to love people for where they are.
Okay.
Not for where you expect them to be.
Right. Right. That makes, yeah.
So they could be in another place, like mentally, and you expect
still gotta
them.
Love them.
Right. You expect them to be way far advanced. You gotta love them for where they are. Yeah. And then pray for them that they come out.
Listen, these kind only go by prayer and fasting. Okay. That's what the Bible says. These kind only go by prayer and fasting. So you're gonna have to, child, listen. You can't argue some things out. Some things you gonna have to pray out. I didn't argue the last 2 marriages. I ain't got no more arguing left in me. I'm serious. So the next husband you want to argue, you're going to have to find another wife. I ain't got the energy. I'm done arguing. I'm going to go pray that's between you and the Lord. Child, I ain't going to argue with you. That's between you and the Lord. You go wrestle with the Lord all night. So that's why I ain't married yet. The Lord is yet working on me. There's some things on the inside of me that need to be worked out and worked through. All right.
But that's good that you know that.
Child, I know.
Listen,
I know. I've been, yeah, I know. I was sharing with my cousin last night. I've come a long ways because I was telling her about a situation and she was like, so what else did you say? I was like, nothing. She was like, at all? No.
That's it.
She was like, right, that's it. I was like, yeah. She said, you're growing up. Because the old you would have been like, remember that time such and such said this and you said this and you, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. But this time so there's a little bit of growth. The Lord is working. And
that's good. High five for me.
Look, he probably worked faster if I let him.
You in the way.
I'm in the way. Right. Next question. What is it that you notice first what is the first thing you notice about a person? Their shoes. That's the first place I look. Their shoes. That I really do. I like shoes. So I look at shoes first.
I look at their haircut.
Haircut?
Yeah.
I don't even look. That's the last thing I look at.
I look at their hair. Like, I feel like if you don't get your lineups and get your hair, like, you just don't care about your life.
No, because my hair don't be done. I didn't lay these edges today. But I ain't got no shoes on, so that means I'm comfortable. Yeah, I look at their shoes first. Your shoes finna tell me what kind of style you got. Your shoes finna tell me how you like to spend your money. Mm. Your shoes finna tell me what you value. Your shoes finna tell me how hard you work. I look at the first thing I do is look at shoes. The other question was, are you still killing all of your pets? We still got some fish. They yet holding on. DJ won't let me get rid of them. DJ got some fish that are holding on. 3 little fish and 2 loaves of bread. Next question. You always look nice. Can you give me one fashion tip? I don't think I always look nice because today I'm a little ratchet. I didn't feel like getting dressed. I had a day. When I tell you a day, Like I could have just threw the whole day away.
Was people on your nerves?
Listen, I stood in my driveway at 5:31 and said, I'm just going to 5:31 p.m. tonight. And it was like, I'm canceling Winning Wednesday tonight.
Oh no.
I promised to God.
Why are we doing that?
Because it's been a day.
Mm.
It's been one of them days.
Well, how you feel now?
We'll see when we get off fire. We shall see.
Take a sip. Take a sip.
Listen.
A canopy of heaven.
Listen.
You'll be all right.
It's been a
Wow.
it's been a day. It has been a rough day, but I'm still here.
Amen to
And
that.
I'm still on Winning Wednesday. That is one thing that I can say. Discipline. We've got to work on discipline for the next season of our lives, or this season that you're in, because you have to be committed to what you said you were going to do long after the feeling. That goes back to marriage.
Yeah.
You have to be disciplined enough to be committed to what I said I was going to do
Right.
long after the feeling.
When you don't feel like it.
So I didn't feel like doing Winning Wednesday. But when I told God yes to this is the purpose that you have for me, I got to do it even when I don't feel like it. So, but the fashion tip that I would give, I'm getting back on topic. Wear the proper undergarments. I don't think we should be seeing panty lines in 2021. We need to wear undergarments that fit. I remember.
Make sure when you have your bra, you shouldn't have this bubble.
Right?
And in the back, you have to make sure that it comes up over like the little roll. That's a good fashion tip.
Listen, church mother.
Because your shirt could be really, really cute, but if your boobs is all like not sitting right,
wear the appropriate. That's discipline your disappointment. I'm trying to tell y'all, you need to wear the appropriate undergarments. A couple months ago, it was about a year ago now, I went to church and one of the first ladies in the bit, she got me in the bathroom. And so she was like, she was not touching, but referring to my backside and was like, so where did all this come from? I was like, wait, what? All of what? She said, you're putting on some weight back there. And part of me wanted to be like, first of all, this is what's going on with me health-wise as to why I'm gaining weight, since you want to know. Right. But you can't talk to the first lady like that. So she told me, you need to put on a girdle. And you need to make sure you get the ones with the legs, because you don't need to be jiggling all over here. That's not what women do. And I was like, right. And that's why I was like, I'm not even that big. I'm not even that big to be jiggling. But when she left, I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, you can't. All right.
I'm jiggling.
Like, so I couldn't even get mad. All right. Like, all I had to do was accept, all right, you right. I made sure when I left the house every time after that, especially when I was going to see her at church. If no other time, when I was going to see her at church, I made sure I had on the right foundation.
Foundation
right.
Important.
Your foundation. Make sure it's sure. Make sure you got on the right undergarments, ladies, women. Another fashion tip, get you a good smelling fragrance.
But take a shower first.
Shut up.
Make sure that the soap and water, there's steps to it, okay? So you can get you a good fragrance, but just
Samara,
make sure that you apply the soap and water.
Right.
When you get out, dry off real good, then apply a great fragrance.
Did you take it out yet? Take it out. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm still cooking dinner. Sorry. Yeah, we're good fragrance.
Makes you feel good. When you smell good, you feel good.
Listen, y'all. I had to catch myself because I was in a habit. After I get dressed and do my makeup, I put on perfume before I walk out the door. My daughter had to check me one day. So you putting on perfume to go sit on Zoom?
Yeah.
Who gonna smell you?
When you smell good, you feel good. That's how
it's a whole different, like, it's a routine. You got to make sure you smell good. So foundation, smell good. What's another one? It was another one that I was just thinking of, and I can't even remember right now. I can't remember. Oh, use the iron. Use the iron. Your outfit could be the nicest outfit, but it'll be so much better if you
Right.
pulled out that iron. Even if you don't think you need it, pull out the iron. Especially like if you are in front, if you're in a leadership capacity, pull out the iron. I promise it'll take 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
I'm
Real
be
quick.
honest, I need to do better with
Li-
the iron. I hang my clothes, so
I can't. So my daddy, I had come from a military household. My
Mhm.
daddy didn't grow up he wasn't in the service, but all of his brothers and sisters were.
Mhm.
So I guess maybe it was something in the military that taught them how to iron that passed it down to my daddy, and my daddy like did it and passed it on to my brother. It skipped me, but still, like he made sure I knew how to iron before I left the house. So there was something always there that you need to iron.
Mhm.
Like,
Well,
see,
that makes sense for the military because you got to be like polished and like on point
right.
in the discipline. So it makes sense.
So wear the right undergarments. Get a great smelling fragrance, not body splash. Get you a perfume and use the iron. That's 3 tips in one. Next question. What is one of the most important rules when going on a date? Number 1, drive your own car. Because when you're ready to go, you want to be able to go. Drive your own car. But allow the man to be a man. I've had to learn that. Allow the man to open the door for you. Allow him to be, you have to allow, especially when I've been divorced now 6 years. So I've become very independent. I've always been independent, but it's gotten worse over the last couple of years. But I've had to allow the man to be a man, which is now something that I'm teaching my sons. My 8-year-old knows when we walk through the door, I'm not opening the door. That's your responsibility. I don't care if you are 8. You open up the door for every woman and you're going to hold it. I know you're tired, but you're the man.
Right.
You're not the man, but you are a man in training. So that is one of my rules. Drive your own car because you need to be able to leave when you need to leave, especially if things finna go left and he think y'all finna do something that you just ain't finna do.
Right.
Drive your own car and allow the man to be the man and be a lady. Be a lady. It's okay to be a lady. It don't mean that you any less than. It's okay to sit back and allow a man to admire you. So that is one of my rules when going on a date. What is one thing that people don't worry about but really should? Their souls. I don't think people think heaven and hell are real anymore. I don't. Like, we don't talk about it and we don't preach about it and we don't hear about it as much as we used to, as I remember growing up.
It's like we feel like we have time.
Yeah.
And we don't. Like, people are dying that we really just
they never died before.
We never like would expect. Like, we're losing family members that it's like blowing our minds that they passed away. One of the biggest mistakes is we feel like we have time. So we're out here fooling around doing what we want to do, living by our standards versus God's standards.
Yeah.
We ain't worried about it. And that's sad because it's like you don't know like what's gonna happen to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you out here in your sin doing what you want to do.
Even not
you
even
get ready to stop.
Not even that, because not everybody living in sin.
True.
But I've seen a lot of complacency in the church where they're complacent with not winning souls or inviting people to church. Like, we in a pandemic and everybody virtual. You can't invite nobody to watch it live. Like, you can't share the guy. Like, it's ain't no more excuses. I don't have a ride. I don't have no gas money. All you got to do is turn on your phone and
I don't got nothing to wear.
You ain't got nothing. Right. All you have to do is click share. I think we've gotten so complacent. Even if I don't think we care about we don't care about winning souls as much as we used to.
Yeah. That's kind of fallen off.
It's just as long as I'm here. And child, do you know what I had to go through to get here? But be glad that I made it here. What? You need to be glad you made it here. We don't need to be glad you made it here. You need to be glad that you still in the number.
Yeah.
And I don't think we care too much. We don't focus as much on salvation, our own, and others as much as we used to. I could be wrong. Your church might be different. I don't know. But I don't feel that.
I see a lot of like we're comfortable with like what we have, like the membership that we have. We're not doing like whatever happened to witnessing door to door.
COVID.
No, even before COVID, like I haven't done that since I was a child. Like I used to go. My pastor was my uncle, and I don't know who made this rule, but you can never go alone. So one time,
when I do community organizing, like when I do door knocking, they say the same thing. Don't go alone, just for safety. Because they can snatch you in the house and don't nobody know where you're at.
Don't nobody know. Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I've gone a few times with my uncle, who's my pastor at the time. But church, I don't feel like churches do that no more. Like we're not seeking to win new souls. We're comfortable preaching and hollering and praise breaking with the same people that we do every Sunday. There's no seeking out the neighborhood. There's no seeking out your coworkers. You know what I mean? Like we're just so comfortable in house.
Yeah. So one of my pet peeves, because that's one of the questions. What is one of your pet peeves? But this ties into this question. I hate when churches call themselves community churches.
But like not doing community stuff.
Second Baptist Wayside of the Living Water Community Church. And you ain't doing nothing in the community.
The community don't even know you.
Like they don't even know you exist. That is one of my pet peeves. That is one of my pet peeves. Yeah. Don't call yourself a community church and you're not doing nothing in the community. But that is actually, so when I was younger, my grandmother there was for those of you that are from Fresno, off of Fig and North, my grandmother there was a vacant lot there. And every Saturday she would go and she would feed the kids in the neighborhood. And she would play games with them every Saturday. And that was how I formed a lot of my relationships out in the Fig and North. Anytime y'all hear me talk about West Roy, that's where it came from. That's family. Grew up with those. And so seeing her do that, seeing my grandfather do that. My grandfather had apartment complexes and homes where he allowed people to live rent-free a lot of times because they didn't have the money. That was my background. That's where we came, right? That's where we came. That's what I carry. That's where my passion is. That is what I enjoy doing. That is who I enjoy helping. That's why I say I don't miss church. It's not that I love my church. I love the Harvest Connection Church. I'm shouting them out now. I have a dynamic pastor. Love him dearly. But so before y'all twist this up and say, yo, church, no, sweetheart, don't come for mine because I ain't quite been delivered there yet. Folks know you come from my church and my pastor, I'm going to light you up.
Wow.
Anyways, back on point. I don't miss church because church for me is doing feeding the homeless. Church for me is doing a clothing giveaway. Church for me is meeting those in need. Like that's church for me. I'm sure I'll miss a praise break here or there, but I have praise breaks at home. Anybody that ride in the car with me knows that. I have praise breaks all day.
Sometimes I walk in my house and I just shout, hallelujah.
Listen, have whole church services at home.
Just thanking God that I have a home to walk into.
Right. So church for me is more so doing those types of things. And that's what I really wish churches as a whole, not one church, not just one type of church. That's what I feel like churches as a whole should be doing so that it helps to draw those that are lost in. Because if they knew where to go when they needed help, they would go. Now, granted, not everybody going to heaven because hell is for somebody. Somebody is going.
And it's enlarging itself.
And as my grandpa would say, you can tell hell I ain't coming. I let you tell hell because I ain't going. But I really think that we don't take soul winning serious anymore. Yeah. It's more so, I feel like a lot of times we do more fellowshipping than we do discipling. We do more fellowshipping than we do outreaching. If I look at, I'm glad COVID didn't shut stuff down, because if I look at your calendar and you spent more Saturdays in somebody else's service than you spent in your community talking to those and reaching those, I think we have misconstrued what the gospel and what Christ really came to do. I asked somebody the other day, I can only read a couple of times in the Bible. I'm not a Bible scholar, because I said that earlier, that Jesus went to the church. He spent more time outside of the church than he did in the church.
Yep.
So why are we doing things not the way that he did them? I'm sure he went to church. I'm sure he went to the temple. I'm pretty sure he did. But the times that he went,
Gotta refocus.
right. So as Kamaya said earlier, once we get back in this building, y'all, reshift your focus. Don't go back to business as usual. But revamp, do something different. Don't go back to business as usual. Got 2 more questions. Next one is, what is one project that you know you need to finish? About to tell on myself. About to tell a whole secret. So I started this book at the beginning of this pandemic, and it's just sitting there.
So writing the book.
I only got 10 pages left to write. Like,
Wow.
legit.
I wish I would have known that.
Like, and each page got a prompt on it. So literally, I'm literally almost there. I need to, it's funny because I was just having a conversation with my daughter, and she was like, I don't have the motivation to do my work, schoolwork. And I was like, you got to find the motivation. Child, PG&E don't care about your motivation. Wells Fargo, when you get for that bank loan, for that car loan, don't care about your motivation. Child, you got to find your motivation. So I guess I'm speaking to myself now. I need to find the motivation to finish these last. It's literally 10 pages left. Literally 10 pages left. So I do have that project to finish. I'm not doing nothing else to my house. It's done. Bless the Lord. It's done. I got maybe 2 doors I need to replace. That ain't no project though. I got to get a refrigerator. That ain't no project though. That is one project that I need to finish. Last question I got is, what did Bertha eat today? Child, Bertha ate McDonald's. Today was a fast day, and then I messed around and ate McDonald's after the fast. But I'm cooking dinner tonight, bacon wrapped chicken, bacon wrapped asparagus. And before y'all get on here and tell me, you a Christian, Christians don't eat pork. Child, don't have me eat you up tonight. Child, don't have me do it tonight. I'm eating bacon wrapped chicken, bacon wrapped asparagus. I don't know if I'm going to make macaroni and cheese or not. I might. We'll see.
I think I want Chicken Shack. Because I've been eating really healthy for like the past 2 weeks.
Fred, how your diet going?
Okay. So tomorrow, I'm back on it. Okay. I've been eating really, really healthy, and I've felt really, really good. I've had a lot of energy.
Good.
But what happened was, so my husband had these Oreos.
Oh.
And it was like a whole pack.
Oh.
And Halloween night, I did real good. I didn't eat no candy. Like, none of that. But in the middle of the night, them Oreos got a hold of me.
It was calling your name?
They was. And I ate about 3 of them.
Only 3 though?
Only 3.
That's discipline.
But the thing is, it messed me up the next day. Because then I started like slipping up and eating other stuff.
See? That's what happens when you don't have discipline.
When you let the devil drive, don't let him drive.
Right.
Like don't let him in the car at all. Because he'll wreck it.
3 Oreos turned into 6.
It just, I don't know. Like, anyway, I'm going to
Chicken Shack tonight. But you're doing this weight loss challenge.
I am.
Talk about it.
The weight loss challenge. Okay, so what I did was, I have a photo shoot coming up just for like promotional stuff. And I really wanted to lose, like, I feel like if I lose like 20 pounds, I'll be popping. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did was, I'm like, okay, what's going to motivate me to really stick to it and lose this weight? I'm like, money. And there's like other people on my Facebook who, is like losing weight too. So I'm like, join me. Let's put money in the pot. Whoever loses the 21 pounds in 21 days, because we started this a couple weeks ago, wins the money in the pot. It's just that simple. You can use whatever weight loss agent you want, if it works, if you want to drink apple cider vinegar twice a day, if you want to go hard at the gym, like whatever you want. I'm not selling a product. It's just we're doing this as a group
better.
to motivate you to do better, be better, become the better version of you. And at the end of it, if you stick to what you said you was going to do, you win the money.
Okay.
Period.
All right. So if they wanted, is it too late to join you?
Actually, I'm going to start a new one. So this one is going to end this Saturday because the Saturday is the 7th, right? So it's going to end this Saturday, and then I'm going to start a new one in a little bit. And actually, I'm going to like pump it up a little bit. We're going to have like a trainer. We're going to do boot camp if you want to do that. If you feel like that's going to help
Bertha
you.
is not going to be okay with that.
If you feel like boot camp is going to help you, then you will get out there and you'll do boot camp. If not, if you feel like you don't need it, all right, do what you gonna do. But I'm putting this in place to help you succeed.
Okay. Well, you got a book.
I had 2 of them.
Come on, 2.
I got 2 of them.
One for the Father, one for the Son. You
Hey.
got to write one more for the Holy.
It's on the way. It's on the way.
Okay, so what's the first book? Tell us about the first book.
So the first book is entitled "I'm Not Married, but I Pray for My Husband."
Child, you better pray for that man. Like before, you got to pray for him before you get married.
See, because when he finds you, he needs to find a wife.
So I got to pray for me too then.
You
Because I'm a
do.
wife when he finds me.
Right.
And that's what we don't understand. Like, we have to be ready. That's probably why you're not married yet. I told y'all that. I know why I wasn't married yet. But you're a wife when he finds you, not you're becoming a wife.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you're a wife when he finds you, doesn't mean that you're obligated to do wifely things for him, because he's not your husband
Because
yet.
you're not his wife.
Not yet.
He didn't make you his wife yet.
Right.
You're a wife, but he didn't make you his
You know,
wife
them
yet.
wife benefits, you can't have those.
Mhm.
So the first book is I'm Not Married, but I Pray for My Husband.
Right. Which is about me praying for my husband. I wrote this book in faith. At the time, we were not together, but we had been together for a couple years. And we got to a point where we're like, okay, this is not working. We need to separate. So after that conversation, I think the day after we had that conversation and we broke up, I'm like, Lord, what am I not doing? Like, I'm doing all that I know how to do to prepare to be a wife, but there's still no ring. There's still no wedding. There's still nothing. Like, we know we want to get married, but it's not happening. What am I missing? And God said, fast, pray for him. And I'm like, well, what do
I'm
I
not
pray
the one
about?
with the problem. It's him.
Yeah. I'm like,
It's
well,
him.
what do I pray about? Like, how long do I pray? Like, I'm literally asking God these questions. And so he began to download and tell me, like, give me all the things that he wanted me to pray for, different areas of his life. And I had
Which takes discipline, because
Yes,
you have to be selfless, because I have to push what I desire to the side. And I'm no way talking about your husband, so y'all don't throw no shade when I said he the one with the problem. I didn't mean that. Not like that. But you have to put yourself to the side and say, I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to pray for his finances.
Right.
Yeah. Because that's going to be the provider for your house.
Yeah.
So you want him to be a good provider. So get your behind up at 5:30 a.m. and pray.
Hello.
So that goes back to the discipline and being committed to, or being selfless as well.
Absolutely.
This is not about me, but this is about him, because in the long run, it does benefit me.
It affects you. Yeah, it definitely affects you. So I just, God just began to download all the things that he wanted me to pray about. And I'm like, okay. And then next to that list, because as God is talking, I'm writing. So next to the list, I wrote, I'm not married, but I pray for my husband. And I'm like, what, God? You want this to be a book? Like, you want me to document my prayers? Like, to share with the world? Oh, okay. I'll do it. Sure. So there's that book. But what the beautiful thing is, as I was praying for him, God was changing me, and he was transforming me, and he was showing me things. Because again, that was our time of separation. But I had faith that, okay, let me get myself out of the way and not try to change him, fix him, none of that. I'm just going to pray for him and let God do whatever. Because whatever the blockage was, like, God needed to do that. So that's the first book.
Okay. And now we got book 2.
And we have book number 2.
And so what's book number 2?
Listen here. Sometimes the problem is you.
Listen, child, listen. I just told y'all what's the reason why I wasn't married yet. Didn't I tell y'all that? It's my fault. I ain't blaming nobody but me. It's
Woo!
me.
Listen.
Sooner I get out the way, the quicker the Lord is gonna do it.
Sometimes it's your attitude. Sometimes you got jealousy hidden in your heart.
You don't know how to talk
Sometimes
to
you have
people.
bitterness hidden in your heart, resentment hidden in your heart. Like those are things that's like tucked away and you really don't want to talk about it. Like you a cool person. I like to hang
But
out with you.
sometimes you don't even know that those are there.
Exactly.
You don't realize the damage that has settled in and has crept in and has hidden itself, concealed itself because you've masked it with this is normal, or I have a right to be this way,
Right.
or I didn't know that this was a problem. Like somebody told me the other day that I was talking to them and they was like, "You're mean." I'm not mean. I'm straightforward.
Okay.
But that just means I have to work on
Yes.
me, the way that I talk. Like everybody can't handle being straightforward.
So your presentation.
Right.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing wrong with them. It ain't nothing wrong with me. It just, okay, if I want to reach this person, I got to talk to them differently.
Yeah.
So, and you don't recognize that until somebody brings it up.
And
For
that's
me,
okay.
Right. For me,
That's
I've been this
okay.
way 37 years, so that's
Right.
normal.
Mhm.
This is what you get.
Right.
But if I want to reach that person, I have to talk to them and communicate with them differently. So it's a lot of things that you don't realize sometimes
Yeah.
that are even an issue. So, child, it be you.
Sometimes it's you. And the thing is, you have to humble. So how you're talking about like when you go to that particular person, that requires like humility.
Right.
It
Like I
requires
gotta change
humility.
me for you.
It requires humility. But if you really think about it, like that is God's light shining in you. If you have the ability to do that and you take yourself out of the way and you know who you're getting ready to do it, set all your personality like to the side and just humble yourself and present yourself as Jesus would. If that's what that person needs, then that's what that person needs. We're all in different spaces and areas in life. And you talking to me harshly, even though quote unquote that's you, that may break me at that moment.
Right.
So for you, you know, it just requires humility and that's okay. Like that's what God wants from us. He wants us to be flexible. He wants us to be able to be humble and reflect him.
So I was sharing with our leadership team. We do a debrief every Monday night. And my grandmother used to sing a song. I was sharing with them on Monday night. My grandmother used to sing a song all the time when I was growing up. Oh, him. I didn't share with them. Yeah, I said, when I share with y'all gonna think I'm crazy. It didn't get real to me to this Sunday.
Okay.
Like this Sunday driving down the street. Like for real. I did not grasp what she was singing until Sunday. I am 37 years old and I was probably conceived on the pew at the Witness of Jesus Christ Church.
Not conceived.
Probably it wouldn't, because my mama said she wasn't marrying my daddy till she heard him speak in tongues and she knew for a fact he was saved.
Okay.
So I probably was conceived on the pew. So that means I grew up in the church.
Right.
And this is a song that we sang, my grandmother sang every Sunday night. So this ain't no new song. But it wasn't until me now being 37. I'm actually 37 and a half, technically yesterday.
All right.
37 and a half. 37 and a half years later, the song didn't get, well, it was on first, but the song didn't get real to me. And that song was, I want to live so God can use me anywhere, anytime. Like I was listening to Smokey Norfolk because he has that Sunday church medley.
Okay.
And that was in there.
Okay.
And that song came on and it hit me so that it convicted me. Like literally, I like welcome conviction now.
Yeah.
I used to be like, I'm gonna hide, like the Lord finna get me.
Right.
But now it's almost like I welcome conviction because that's letting me know where I need to do better, where I need to change, what I need to work on. But that song came on and it convicted me to a point that how many times have you been in a place and your attitude was in the wrong place or the wrong way that you couldn't reach the people that I sent you to reach?
And God couldn't use you in that moment because you had attitude. That's
How many
crazy.
how many times have you been somewhere that you shouldn't have been, and you should have been somewhere else, and you couldn't reach the people that I've assigned to you because you was where you wasn't supposed to be? Like, it convicted me to the point to where, like, I had to come home and do a self-assessment and say, I've got to cut some things out of my life. I've got to do some things differently. Some people I can't talk on the phone to.
Yeah.
Some people I can't hang out with. And it's not that I was talking to my cousin last night. She was like, oh, you didn't see such and such post? No, I didn't. Well, you didn't see such and such post? No, I didn't. So now I go to their page to realize I didn't been deleted.
Oh, yeah.
There's a way to find out. It's not like I care because I clearly didn't miss much, but I'm okay with that. Because now I don't have your drama taken up, and you don't realize, like, I ain't got to deal with this burden no more.
Yeah.
Hey, it's been the weight has been lifted off my shoulder, but it's moved out of the way. It's almost like God had to move it out of the way without me even realizing it, so that it would free me up to do what I needed to do. Yep. So I do want to challenge you guys to get to where you need to be, to allow God to do the work in you so that he can do the work through you. Whether it's you writing your book, whether it's your weight loss, you doing your weight loss challenge, whether it's winning Wednesday, whether it's running for a political campaign, whether it's pastoring, it ain't even got to do nothing with church. You might be called to pick up the kids on the school bus, and you will be the best school bus driver that those kids, those kids will always remember. That school bus driver, and that she treated me with love, or she treated me with respect, or she was the only one that spoke to me like I was somebody. Do it as you are doing it unto God. Be in such peace with God and your purpose that you don't get in your own way and sabotage what God is trying to do. Because it's ultimately you that ends up missing your blessing when you are out of the will of God. It's ultimately you that misses what God wants to do for you when you aren't doing what he's asked you. Like my kids, I wish they would come in here and ask me, Mom, I want an iPhone, but you ain't did your chores.
Wow.
You got F's. Whoa. You don't do nothing I asked you to do. And we treat God like that.
Put that in perspective, y'all.
Like, we don't do nothing he asks us to do, but every day we say, God, wake me up and keep me as I slumber and sleep tonight.
I want a car.
God, I want a new car. God, can you bless me with that husband? But you didn't do right by the little that I gave you.
My Lord.
To whom much is given, much is required. If you are a steward over little, be what's the scripture? I can't even think of it right now. Can't even think of it. It was just at the tip of my tongue. But you have to steward the little in order for God to trust you with more. A lot of the times, the reason why he's giving you what he's giving you is to see if he can trust you. Can I trust you with the little before I give you the much? Another thing, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they couldn't understand why, no matter how much they would do, it felt like they weren't getting ahead. Child, because you got the wrong people around you. So I remember one day, my grandma was trying to whoop one of us. And one of us got in the way, and we got whooped. I can't remember which one of the cousins it was. It was one of them. But a lot of times, the reason why you going through what you going through is because you getting in the way of their bad harvest. Are you getting in the way of what they are reaping? Are you getting in the way of what God is trying to do? And that's the reason why you can't get ahead. You got to realize that you can't even help everybody. Some people ain't for you to help. Some people you got to literally leave in the hands of the Lord.
Absolutely.
You got to leave in the hands of the Lord. So get to a place that God can use you, and God can do things in you. God can do things through you. It doesn't mean that every day is going to be perfect. It doesn't mean that you're going to do everything right. It doesn't mean that you won't make mistakes. It doesn't mean that you're the smartest, cutest, brightest, beautifulest, paidest, richest. It does not mean that. Just have a heart with the posture of God. I want to be used by you today. Wake up every morning and say, God, who do you want to bless through me today? Like, who am I to be a blessing to today? Who do you want me to show love to today? Wake up every morning and say, God, who is it that you want me to bless today? You may not decide to leave your house because of coronavirus, but God will teach you. God will show you, even if it's just a simple text message. Hey, I'm checking on you and want you to know that I love you. So, friends, you got anything else to add? I think this is my longest live I've done.
I was just excited when I saw your post, like Winning Wednesday. I'm in a place where I have to wake up and decide that I'm going to have a good day.
Yeah.
I wake up and I decide that I'm going to be happy. Like, no matter what comes my way, no matter who gets on my nerves at work, no matter the difficulties that I'm having with work, like anything, like you have to decide that you're going to be happy and that you're going to win.
Right.
You also have to decide that you're going to be disciplined and you're going to stick to the goals that you set for yourself. Even if it's a little bit, at least you're taking steps forward towards whatever the end goal was.
Yeah.
And you have to be like determined in your mind to make it. And so I was excited when I saw your post and I said, you know what? That was like my mindset today. Like, I'm going to win today. Like,
today is that day.
I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, today is that day.
Yeah.
Today is that day. Y'all, Winning Wednesday, it was birthed out of an area, a time in my life where I felt like all I was doing was losing. Like, every time I turn around, I'm taking another hit. But I had to sit down and really realize or look at, what am I supposed to be learning from this? Because it feels like I'm going through the same problem over and over again. I keep dealing with the same experiences. It feels like the same problem, just a different person. And so there was something that I had to come to myself and say, Tish, what are you supposed to learn? What are you supposed to learn out of this? So you don't ever have to go through this, so that you don't ever have to feel like this. I remember, and I partially shared this story with my children, so this ain't nothing new, and I'm not bashing their daddy. I remember when he and I first separated, getting ready to divorce. I was a stay-at-home mother. I didn't have a job. He was the breadwinner. And I remember when he left, he drained the bank account. I had a little over $14 in my bank account. No job and 2 kids. But I was determined that was the lowest place I was going to ever be in my life. So when you see me hustling,
Right.
it's because I was determined that I will never live like this again.
Right.
I ain't never got to win. It does not mean, before y'all would switch it up and be like, well, you ain't healed and that's why you ain't. No, because I do know how to submit to a husband when it's time. Yeah. I do. Even if I do make more than him, he's still the head.
Amen.
I don't care how much he make, and I don't care how much I make. That's still the head. He is the head of the house. But if he was to ever walk out financially, I'm going to be all right.
Right.
When I get married again, if he was to ever walk out, I will be okay. And it doesn't take away from him being a man. It doesn't take away from him being the head. It doesn't take away from him being the covering. But I've been to that experience and I've been to that low that I had to learn that lesson that I cannot, in the event that somebody is to walk out, you have to still be able to sustain. So Winning Wednesday was birthed literally after me sitting and having to realize I've got to break a cycle. Okay. It does not mean that I ain't took no losses, but they really weren't losses. They were lessons learned to set myself up. I think I'm all right. Doesn't mean life is perfect, because child, listen, I win that lottery and life will be good.
So is Winning Wednesday for you, the purpose of it, is it a mindset or is it like informational?
It's both.
Okay.
It's me giving you the information you need so that you have the mindset to win. Yeah, which is why prior to the pandemic, I was doing 2 to 3 minute videos that I post on Wednesday. But then when we got into the pandemic, that's when I started going live, because I'm at home now. I got a little bit more time. Right. Not doing as much outreach as I was doing then, pre-pandemic. But that's why it is a Christian based, but it's not just about God.
Okay. Yeah, because you've had like politics,
right,
and things like that,
right,
community stuff.
Okay. Right. We've talked about repairing your credit. We talked about buying a house. We've talked about I got somebody that's coming on that has nothing to do with church, has nothing to do with somebody that I grew up with in church, but it's not necessarily just about God, because we don't live in church. Like, we live in a carnal world.
Yeah.
We're in this world, not of this world, but we still got to live in the world. So what are the tools that I need to live through this world while I'm here? How do I move my money around?
Right.
How do I maximize my money? What do I do with it? How do I spend it? Where can I invest? What are some of the mistakes that you went through, Letitia, so that I don't have to go through those?
Yeah.
Or maybe I have I'm not an expert by far, but we'll bring somebody on that can help you do that. I want to buy a house. All right, I got some realtors. So if y'all want to buy a house, I will make a reference to several realtors that are doing phenomenal jobs. But you want to buy a house. I've had people that said, I've never known anybody in my family to buy a house. I wouldn't even know the first step to buying a house. How do I buy a house?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about it when we have talked about it. So it's literally to give you the information, because you don't know that home ownership is attainable until you sit and listen to the information and realize. I was talking to one of my stepdaughters the other day. They told me she's paying $1,400 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment.
Ew, won't do it.
And I said to her, you can buy a house, right?
Basically.
Like, that's mortgage payment.
Yeah. And some mortgage payment ain't even that much.
Mine sure ain't that much. Mine sure ain't that much.
I think I know somebody, their mortgage payment is like $800.
Child, listen.
That's crazy.
So with that being said, but you never know that you can buy a house because it feels like it's so out of reach. But when you sit and get the information, oh, this is a little bit more attainable. So now let me set a goal and have the mindset to follow through with this goal. Right. And that's the win. It don't mean that you're finna get a mansion, but you can get something that's more attainable for you. We do want to work on the homes because we want a wise man leaves a legacy or inheritance, as the Bible says, for his children's children. I can say that I have because my grandparents had. My parents had too, but I promise you, my parents have set my kids up. So that means I got to set my grandkids up. Everything that I do is not for my children, but it's for my grandchildren, because their grandparents have done a great job in setting them up. A phenomenal job. I am so thankful for my children's grandparents. So you can't do that if all you focused on is the Jordans. You got to put some money to the side. You can't leave something for your children's children if you don't have life insurance and they got to do chicken dinners to bury your body. We're not doing that. When you get your tax return next year, pay up your life insurance for the whole year. It's very simple. You need somebody a life insurance agent, I will get you one. I know several. So we got to it's literally Winning Wednesday is giving you the information to change your mindset so that you win, so that you learn the lesson from what you thought was a loss. Because the Bible says all things work together for the good. The good is the win. All right? Anything else you want to say, friend? Because I got this chicken, Bertha. Y'all want to know who Bertha is? Bertha is my inner person. That chick like to eat, y'all. That chick eats. And Bertha,
I don't think you want to know.
You don't want to meet Bertha. Look, you don't want to meet Bertha. When Bertha ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Okay? Bertha finna get eat this chicken, and she got to cook this asparagus in a minute. So anything else you want to say, friend, before we log out of here and tell these people good night?
Get you some good friends that care about you.
Yes.
Get you some good friends who can speak into your life.
Yes.
Surround yourself with people who are in tune with the Holy Spirit.
Yes. The Holy Ghost, not the Holy Guest.
Okay.
Not the Holy Guest, because some folks got some spirits. It just ain't the right one.
Iron sharpens iron.
Right.
And that's how you win.
Right.
By having good people around you, that's how you win.
Right.
Honestly.
Right. That's the truth. All right. I'm going to end with my circumstance will not define my worship. To make that declaration today, make that declaration for the rest of this week. Better yet, make that declaration for the rest of this year. My circumstance will not define my worship. Make it a point to worship despite whatever it is that you are going through, because it won't always be like this. It won't. It won't always be like this. So I love y'all. Thank y'all for joining me for this random Winning Wednesday. This will probably be the only random winning Wednesday I do like this because I wanted to do something different tonight because of everything that is going on. But I do want to thank you all for that have joined me on tonight, that followed me through this crazy evening. I love you deeply from the bottom of my heart. Not that I love you because I want to make it to heaven mess either. Like, I'm genuinely working on loving people, y'all. But I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. I pray that today, not today, because the day is almost over, but tomorrow you do something that puts yourself in a position to win. If you need prayer, y'all hit me up. I have no problem with praying. If you need some resources for the person that needed the CPA, I will make sure that I send their link recommendations to you so that you have that information, because I want you to win too, friend. I do. All right, I love y'all. I'm finna head out of here. Happy Winning Wednesday. Good night, good night, good night. And thank y'all to those that voted. All right, happy Winning Wednesday. Bye.